I'm doing Khrushchev, and I believe there was two tools that he used to specifically deal with opposition. Firstly, repression. The 1956 Hungarian revolt. He repressed it. The workers rose up in Hungary, and he repressed it. He wanted to keep hold of the territory that Stalin had kept hold of during the Great War. And similarly, in Norichovsk in 1962, was referred to as another Bloody Sunday after this first one with Tsar Nicholas. The workers rose up again, and he crushed them. And going on to evidence of success using these tools, he only ever had one party, the anti-party state, resist his rule, and he dealt with those by, instead of killing them, he demoted them. So people like Malkonov, Kanovich, Zhukov, they were all demoted to cement factory workers. One was a manager of a plant in Siberia, and they went to various other places as well. Other than that, he had no opposition politically, apart from his ousting in 1964. And then comparing it to all the other rulers, Alexander II, Khrushchev was way more liberal throughout. After the assassination attempt by the People's Will, Alexander II cracked down on a lot of the groups, and he became way more repressive. But obviously he didn't work as well, as he was killed, assassinated. Which leads me on to Alexander III, who Khrushchev is better than because he was much less repressive than Alexander III, because he was in response to his father, obviously. And also he was much more liberal. He granted freedoms, various freedoms such as speech, freedom of movement, freedom of press. He tried to, using de-Stalinisation, he tried to get rid of all the blockades that Stalin had put up. Then again, under Nicholas II, obviously he was overthrown, something that Stalin, well, he was overthrown but he was ousted rather than being eventually killed. And he lost way more power. He ended the Romanov dynasty, ended the reign of the Tsars. The provisional government leading on to, I think personally Khrushchev was better than them because they were quite a weak force. They only lasted 6 months. Whilst the liberality and the freedoms they granted were good, they allowed the Bolsheviks out of prison. They allowed Lenin back into the country, which meant that they could discuss revolutionary ideas, which meant that eventually they would rise up. And again, the provisional government was overthrown. Lenin was another leader, but I would personally say that Lenin had a lot more influence over Khrushchev. He's the only one out of all of them that I personally think that is better than Khrushchev, because he faced lots of opposition and he dealt with them very well. Stalin, again, he was totalitarian. He killed millions and millions of people. But unlike Stalin, Khrushchev was still kept effective control without killing loads of people. He started dismantling all the gulags. He started giving more freedoms, as I've previously said. And yeah, I just think Khrushchev was is using de-Stalinisation. He kept effective control while still repressing people if they stepped out of line with what they believed in. Yeah.